Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B, what's going on?
Some trolling and some truth telling going on this week.
Ooh, I like that. And there's some people already ready to go here. Living legend, what's going on, my man?
What's up, living legend?
Our guy Garnett West is in the house. Appreciate you
What's
coming
going
through
on,
as
Garnet?
always. Wait, who's this in the chat? What? LBHT crew, let's go. Yeah, man, you see the title, man. You see the title. We got a lot to discuss. But first, I hope that your week is going well. And if it's not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. All right. We got a holiday coming up. Some of you guys might be off on Friday or Monday. I'm not sure, with your jobs or whatever. I got Monday off. So, 3-day weekend coming up. So just get through the week. And, man, hey, it's July. We got a lot of sports to discuss. Got a little Ravens talk as always. Derek Weatherly is in the house. What's going on, Derek?
What's up, Derek?
Shout out to you. Jazzy JJ is in the house. What's poppin'? Raven Ron is here. What's going on, Raven Ron? All right, he said, let's do this. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Winding down 68 Chevy windows. That's what's up. That's what's up, man. It was a hot one today. Yeah. It was hot today.
It's still hot.
Yeah, I'm still sweating. I'm sitting in AC. All right.
Oh, Garnet said Friday and Monday, flexing a little bit in the chat there. Okay.
All right. I see you. All right. Yeah, this is gonna be a nice weekend. But so we're gonna discuss the troll job from PFF. We don't even want to say their names, but we're gonna discuss it. It's a hot topic. It's regarding our man Lamar Jackson. We're gonna get into a little Scottie Pippen. Okay, Scottie Pippen made some comments. He said a few things, and initially people were like, "Oh, this guy's just drunk, and he's talking crazy." But does he have a point? Ooh.
What's up, Mr. J? Mr. J in the chat.
Oh, Mr. J is here.
Jazzy JJ, it's 4th of July, my friend.
Hey, you know what? Don't feel bad because it wasn't until I got an email from my job saying get your timesheets in early, and I'm like, why? We just had a holiday, and I was like, oh man, it's 4th of July. I forgot. Oh man, Eric L's in the house. Eric L, what's going on?
Eric?
Thank you for coming through. Ferris is here. What you doing on Periscope? Ferris, Scottie Pippen is something else. Is he? Yeah. Is he? Oh,
well, yes, he is, but he may not be wrong.
We're gonna get into it. But as always, we like to start each show with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah, so this is something I just wanted to mention. I don't know how many people really know about this. It's something I learned about a couple of years ago at this point, but I know that stories like this don't really make the rounds in this country. So I want to talk about MOVE, which was a group, a Black activist group that was founded in 1972, 1 year after COINTELPRO became public. If you don't know what that was, it was the government program, the FBI program, through which they spied on Black activists. Well, not even just Black activists, just activists in general.
Yes.
So Vincent Leapart, who was a military veteran, he was in the Korean War. He founded MOVE. They were kind of they're labeled as Black radicals, and eventually by the city of Philadelphia were labeled a terrorist organization. But they believed in Black liberation. They advocated for like a raw food diet, living all natural, going back to a hunter-gatherer type society. But their headquarters was in Philadelphia, in a row house, and they kind of annoyed their neighbors a lot. They were composting, they had loudspeakers, and they were kind of, spouting their political beliefs, I guess you could say. They were giving speeches and everything, and it annoyed people, right? Yep. And the police were kind of targeting them over a long period of time, trying to silence them.
Yes.
After a while, they kind of got tired of that. They started, because they're a peaceful group, and they started to stand around with weapons, right? They weren't going to take the harassment from the police anymore. They got into a firefight with the police An officer ended up getting killed. A couple of MOVE members were killed. There's some dispute over whether or not the officer was actually shot by a MOVE member versus friendly fire from another officer. No, don't really know that. But, a lot of MOVE members were arrested, sent to jail for, a few decades behind that. They all got 30 to 100 years. After that, they kept going on. They kept doing their thing. They were still living in there, composting, still giving their sermons and everything, or their speeches. And then in 1985, the police decided they had had enough. The city had decided they had enough. The mayor called them imbeciles and psychotics and not even humans. They sent the police out there they got warrants. 500 cops showed up to get their, I don't know, it was like 10 to 15 members in the house at the time. So they wanted to storm the house, remove them, send them to jail. MOVE wasn't having it. There was another firefight. They said the police fired over 10,000 rounds into the house. They were using water cannons for hours, trying to get people to come out of the house so they could be arrested. And eventually, after a few hours, the police commissioner ordered that the house be bombed. They had a helicopter fly over. The mayor
approved it.
Yes. They had a helicopter fly over the house, dropped a couple bombs on it. They were actually storing gasoline on the roof of the house. So obviously, there was a huge explosion. The house caught on fire. A couple blocks in that city caught on fire.
Destroyed the whole 60 neighborhood.
Yes, 60 houses. And the the fire department was ordered to not put out the fire. They said, just let it burn.
Yep.
And, some of the MOVE members, the people who survived, said that obviously once the house caught on fire, they tried to get their members, their children, the animals that were there out. But when they tried to come out, the police were firing on them, trying to get them to go back inside because they did not intend anyone to survive.
Yeah.
They ended up 14 people were killed, and I believe it was 5 children, some as young as, I believe, 6 was the youngest, I believe. And then, for a long time, the city just kind of said, hey, it's what happened, whatever, and nobody faced any charges for it. Nobody was fired or anything like that. It wasn't until 1995 that the city actually paid kind of restitution to the surviving members. $1.5 million was awarded. And then it was even later, it was just last year, May of last year, when the city actually apologized and recognized that that they were wrong in what
last
happened.
Year in 2020. Yeah. And just I'm gonna read a couple of these comments. First of all, shout out to Engraven. Thanks for coming through. He says, "Sheesh, yeah, man. We were kids when this happened. I was like 5 or 6 when that happened. Just Lo says he remembers it.
Just Aloe.
Just Aloe. See, I did it again. Just Aloe. We're gonna get it right. Just Aloe. Let the Fire Burn is a great documentary. Thanks for the suggestion, man. We're gonna check that out. And Eric L says sounds very similar as the Black Tulsa riot in 1921. Absolutely.
And things that went on all over this country for a long time that nobody likes to talk about.
Yeah. So, look, we usually bring you a fun fact, but there's some atrocities that need to be recognized because history likes to erase those things. And that was a big deal. Like that happened in our lifetime. I remember that too. I remember that too. Like that was not that long ago. So it's important to, is there a documentary about this? Yeah, Garnett, just Aloe's just suggested one, Let the Fire Burn.
Yeah. Just do you know, is that on Netflix or do you know where that would be available?
Yeah, drop that in the chat. All right. And we are going to get into our first topic. Usually it transitions into our first topic. But look, it's a Black history fact and we're going to talk about a Black quarterback right now. So there you go. All right. Let's get into it, guys. The disrespect of one Lamar Jackson. I mean, look, me and B discussed this for a while because we don't really like to mention troll jobs that PFF does, man. Like when they first came out, they were something different. They're kind of a breath of fresh air because they gave you just analyze the game, right? There was no emotion involved. There's no hot takes. It's just, this is our grading system. Here's how we grade the players. And, it is not indicative of how the player is overall. They used to always say that. Like, that doesn't mean that they're a bad player. We're just telling you how they performed this year. you know, and we really respected that. But since then, you know, look, they're trying to commercialize and make money, and you know, some of the things I understand, but stuff like this, it's just, I mean,
yeah, to an extent, they're still valuable. They have a lot of proprietary stats that are very good. You know, that other sites don't have. Their grading, I mean, I think their grading is not bad, but you know, it's subjective, obviously. But it's something that you can use as kind of a shorthand for players that you don't know much about. And I think that whether whether this is a coincidence or not, when Chris Collinsworth got involved, they kind of started to go down this road. Right? You know, he kind of had them change their overall grading system to be more of a 0 to 100 scale, like Madden ratings. Because before, you know, the players could go well over 100. It was just your total score for the season. So you know, he kind of showed them how to, I guess, commercialize is probably a good word for it.
And I'm fine with that. You know, I understand that.
But what came along with that was they have a lot of podcasts, they have a lot of their analysts, and they try to get them out there, and they want to get attention, and they say things that don't really make sense, but that they know are going to spark a lot of conversation. Like they had one of their guys go on Twitter and say that it takes no skill to play running back. Just not.
Right. And then, you know, when he's arguing with other analysts, you know, in the business, or when they present an argument to him, they just shut down that argument, right? For us, what really did it for, you know, like that really changed our view of Pro Football Focus was when, I can't remember which member it was, Pro Football Focus, but they were questioned on how they grade offensive linemen by Kean Fahey. Kean is you know, he's sort of infamous on Twitter, right? He gives some takes that are unpopular, but he can justify everything that he says, whether you agree or not. He can break down what he's looking at. So he questioned, like, how are you doing this grading on these linemen?
Yeah, I remember specifically it was about Jack Conklin when he was playing for the Titans. He was playing right tackle, and they had him graded as one of the best tackles in the league. Yes. And he kind of questioned him. He said he's not a good tackle, right? And he said that, you know, he got help on every play, basically. You know, he had either a tight end helping him or the guard or a running back chipping somebody. And their response was essentially the block got made.
Right. So, and that's not a good answer. That's not a good answer. So there's some flaws in your system, right? Yeah. But look, it is what it is. Every system, no system is perfect because, you know, football is not a exact science. Yeah. So it's fine. But stuff like this, man, you put out a top 50 list, you know what you're doing. It's summer, you know, it's slow right now in terms of football, and you need some clickbait. You need people to click on your site.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, you know, it's in the ticker there, but we should just say they put out their top 50 list, and Lamar Jackson was not on it. Yeah, they had, I believe, it was 6 or 7 quarterbacks on the list, and Lamar didn't make the list. And they basically said that they think that those quarterbacks are better or are going to have a better season than Lamar Jackson. And I kind of look at it like, okay, you know, Lamar is a bit of a polarizing player, in large part because of PFF and people like them, you know, basically telling people he can't throw. But it's very similar to what they did with Cam Newton. You know that there's a segment of the fan base, the NFL fan base, that doesn't like him. So you're not really going to lose anything by just going after that player. Right. I mean, they said that Cam was probably the 5th or 6th best quarterback in the league the year he won MVP. Yeah. Like it's just, you know, they say stuff for shock value, and it is what it is. They're getting their clicks.
Yeah. So I mean, we're going to address it, but basically it's one of those things, like, you just don't take it seriously, right? You want to have fun with it, that's fine. You know, you're going to have, you know, a certain set of people out there that are going to agree with it because they just don't like Lamar. Public, you know, just fan wise, and, you know, in the media, right? Mm-hmm. In the media, especially because there's a lot of egg on some of these people's faces for how hard they went against Lamar in the beginning, right? Yeah. Even when it was obvious that he could play, they kind of stood on that side until it was painfully obvious that he's not only good, he's one of the best players in the league, and they had to shut up for a little bit. So last year, when he had a down year with 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions, right, and ran for 1,000 yards again, you know, that's his down year. You know, they felt like, okay, we can come back out and criticize him a little bit because he showed some flaws. I think this year he's going to have another MVP type of season. I think he's going to be one of the all-time greats when it's said and done. I don't worry about Lamar at all, and I really don't care what anybody says about him. Because here's the thing, guys, right? For everybody that's a Ravens fan out there, Ravens flock, when you have the man, it don't matter what anybody says, right? You don't have to defend him. Like he's going to do his thing. It's teams like, wait, is Punjet in the room? Like Cleveland. It's teams like Cleveland where you're not quite sure about Baker. And look, I'm not throwing shots at Baker, right? Baker might be good, but you're not 100% sure. Right. So when there's questions about him, you know, he's playing for your team and you want to believe in him, you're gonna try to, you feel like you have to defend him a little bit, right? You have to justify some of the things that he does because you're not sure. Mm-hmm. But for Lamar, man, you can say what you want. I know Lamar's better than your quarterback. Unless you're a fan of the Chiefs, right. I know he's better than your quarterback.
Yeah, I think, you know, you can't have Lamar. Realistically, I don't think you can put him lower than third. Like, if you want to, you know, argue, you'll still take Aaron Rodgers over him. Okay. But, it's Mahomes and Rodgers, and that's it.
Yeah.
And, you know, in terms of just a player, not even talking about a quarterback, he's still got to be at the absolute worst in your top 10.
Yeah.
I mean, the way he dominates. I mean, he's been an incredibly efficient passer through his first few seasons, and he's been an absolutely dominant runner.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's read a couple. Mm-hmm. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, before we jump into the comments, we did get a Cash App, another anonymous Cash App saying for most excellent work. So Appreciate you very much.
Man. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, let's read a couple of comments here. Just Allo says PFF is trolling Lamar for clicks. Absolutely. Yeah. Jazzy J says Lamar's a top 10 QB and not a top 50 player. Outrageous. Yeah, he's a top 5 QB. I mean, they know what they're doing. You know, they're getting people talking. It's smart. Oh man, Noah Driscoll's in the house. Oh, look at Noah, the working Noah? Man. You working in the factory now? Okay.
Yeah, congratulations, okay. Noah.
Congrats, man. You know, don't work too hard. Okay. Yeah. Don't work too hard. Don't give them all your energy. Living Legend says the projected lists are obsolete, irrelevant, to be honest. True.
This is true. I'm sure a lot of Ravens fans remember when they had J.K. Dobbins ranked in the low 20s on their running back list. Yeah, so there's not a lot of respect for PFF in this room, I don't think.
They haven't earned it. Garnett says, I called out Eric, the Eric guy from PF, I think it meant PFF, about being contradicting and immediately blocked. Yeah, like they don't take criticism well.
Yeah, but when you're trolling for clicks, there's no point in getting into those arguments because you know you're wrong, right? So.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of people that block like fair criticism unless it's real disrespectful, right? Like you're clearly trolling. Okay, you block trolls, but somebody questions you about something, right? Man up and address it. You know what I'm saying? Or ignore it, but you don't block people. You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting bigger and bigger. That's gonna happen no matter what. Like the bigger you get, the more haters you're gonna get, whether it's warranted or not. Okay. Oh man, keeping it real. What's going on? Hey guys, make sure you check out Keeping It Real, man. He is covering the playoffs. I mean, great. You're doing a great job. I watch all your videos, man. He covers every single game. That was kind of our plan when the playoffs started. We're going to cover games, and then we got lazy with it. But Keeping It Real is on top of it, man. And he's a huge Ravens fan too. So make sure you're subscribed to him. Our guys from Off the Record podcast, Mikey is here. They turned Skip Bayless on us. Yes. Yeah. Z the Beast, what's going on? He said, what's up, guys? Hope all is well. Let's be real. The trolling, they have 2 Ravens in the top 50, not named Lamar. It's BS. Yeah, they know what they're doing, man. Yeah. They know what they're doing. Ferris says, Chris Collinsworth ruins everything. Oh.
Not a fan of Collinsworth at all.
Yeah. Oh, man, Dave on us here. Hold on. Oh, man. Davon sees it. He says, I see the new shirt. Okay. LB, look, guys, we're gonna wait, but we're gonna do a little ad spot right now. LBHT crew, okay? LBHT crew. Get you some LBHT crew. Look, we're gonna show off some products later. All right. But you go to lbhtshow.com/shop and you can get a shirt just like this. All right, we're gonna talk more about that later on in the show.
Just Aloe says he just found a link on Daily Motion to the Let the Fire Burn documentary. Yeah, go ahead and post that. And if y'all want to check out the documentary about the move bombing in Philly in 1985, you definitely should check that out.
Yep. Our man G Star 007 is in the house. What's going on? He says back-to-back 1,000 yards and 25 plus touchdowns. I mean, like, they know what it is, because they like to discredit the rushing yards, but what's his name from not Pro Football Focus, David. I'm drawing a blank now.
From where?
Football game plan.
I don't know any David over there.
I think that was his name. No, not David. Emery Hunt. Emery Hunt. Yeah. Emery Hunt. He made a good point about quarterbacks and what their job is. A quarterback's job is to advance the ball forward. Okay. Yeah. Whether it's passing or running, it's their job to advance the ball. Now, obviously, you're going to get it done most efficiently through passing. But if you can get it done with your feet too, you're doing your job. And Lamar just does that job well.
And that's just a thing that, NFL teams and NFL fans aren't used to seeing, because for a very long time, black players were not allowed to play quarterback and white players don't play like that.
Yep.
It's kind of, that's what it was. Like, there weren't really athletic. I shouldn't even say white players. It's not even that. They don't think that athletic quarterbacks could make it. And it wasn't true, but that's what the league looked like for a long time. Yeah. And now you're seeing more and more athletic quarterbacks. We crap on this guy a lot. Kirk Cousins can move, man. When he gets ready, he's not a great runner, but he's athletic.
The other part of the disrespect was they put out their top 10 lists and he wasn't in the top 5. They had Kirk Cousins in the top 5 though, which is a complete joke. I mean,
I believe they had him ranked ahead of Josh Allen, who is another really good runner. But I don't understand the Kirk Cousins love. I really don't. But my point is just that he, on average, quarterbacks are much more athletic now, and they can add that as part of their game. And you see, though, when it is Josh Allen, it's praised.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, Attitude Pop makes this point right here. Shout out to Attitude Pop. Says, bro, what up? But Josh Allen has one winning season. Not everyone is saying he's the most gifted QB in the league. Yeah, I did see that article. I can't remember who wrote that, but somebody put that out there. He's the most gifted QB in the league, and they're gawking all over him. Yeah. I mean, you know what it is, man. Yeah. You know what it is. He was terrible in his first year, and he was everything that they said Lamar was in his first year, and Josh Allen's first year. Couldn't stand in the pocket, could only throw on a run, wildly inaccurate, run first mentality. Like, he was all that. And what they do, look, and credit to Josh Allen, he did work on some stuff, right? Yeah. But they got him a lot of help.
A lot of help. They got and help that black quarterbacks generally don't get.
Yep.
When you look at Josh Allen, he's got that ability. Yeah, because I'm not going to say he doesn't have it. He's got a huge arm. He's very athletic. He is a good runner. And they looked at him and they said, "Man, this could be our guy. Let's surround him with talent." When it's Mike Vick, when it's Cam Newton, when it's Randall Cunningham, when it's Lamar Jackson, when it's even to an extent Deshaun Watson. I mean, I know that he had wide receivers, but it's okay. Well, these guys have all this ability. Let's let them carry the offense, and let's put our money into the defense.
Yeah. It's the black quarterback syndrome. I call it that all the time. Every time you get a talented black quarterback, they feel like we don't have to. He can carry the load, and we can either just not put any more money into it or put the money on defense. And that's why we fight so hard to defund the defense. Defund the defense, man. You invest in what your strength is. Lamar is your strength. Lamar's the one who's going to get it done. So get him what he needs to succeed. Let's see. Oh man. Vontae Thornton says Lamar have nothing to prove. Honestly, he proved it during his MVP season. I agree. Yeah. All there is left to do is win a Super Bowl. Yes, and most people don't win the Super Bowl. That's just a fact. Right. And Graven says, "Ooh, you getting into something now, Brodny? You getting into something?" And make sure you guys subscribe to Engraven too. Okay, I mean he's the man. I know you guys know Engraven. I know you know who Engraven is. All right, check him out. Lamar out here saving people's jobs. Absolutely. Josh Allen had his job saved by Sean McDermott.
I wouldn't even say he had it saved. He was anointed by Sean McDermott. I mean, they just, and Brandon Beane, they decided before he even got to the league that this was the guy. And they got rid of Tyrod, they got rid of their left tackle, they got rid of Sammy Watkins, they got rid of Marcel Darius, and and they traded up in the draft. They were just trying to acquire asset. Well, one, they were trying to tank so that they could just pick him. But when that didn't work out, they got rid of players and they traded up to get Josh Allen because they had already decided beforehand that he was the man and he was going to be their franchise.
Yeah, and honestly, I respect that. I respect that. They had a clear vision. They know who they wanted. They said, we're going to get this guy and we're going to invest everything in him. And they were 100% in on Josh Allen. So there's no panic after his rookie year, right? His numbers weren't great at all. But they didn't care. They're just like, look, whatever he needs, we're going to get it for him. And, we're going to live or die by this guy. And that's what you got to do, man. You got to throw all your support behind the quarterback. And again, man, like there's quarterbacks that we look at in the league in the past that I say, man, if they had a coach that was really behind them, not saying they could be great, but they could be a lot more successful. And Vince Young is one of those players that I look at. Like if Jeff Fisher didn't want him from the get-go, he made it clear that he didn't want him, and it just never worked out.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of having your coach and GM kind of being joined, being in lockstep, right? Because in most situations around the league, those guys are trying to save their own jobs, and their jobs aren't dependent on one another. Yeah. In Buffalo, I mean, I don't know this as fact, but in Buffalo, I believe that if Josh Allen fails, both those guys will be gone. So both of them have Josh Allen's best interest, in mind.
Yeah, and John Harbaugh needs to think that way, right? Because the fact is, Lamar saved his job already. I think John Harbaugh was definitely at the door. Well, we don't need to speculate. Steve Bisciotti said it. Steve Bisciotti said it that going into that year that he was considering firing Harbaugh, but he decided against it. So I mean, that tells you everything you need to know right there. You're on the hot seat, and you were losing. Your team was losing before you brought Lamar into the game. So he saved your job. Now you need to win. They're about to pay Lamar a boatload of money, and once that happens, there is no excuse, guys. Let me tell you something. There will be no excuse. You cannot say, "Oh well, it's the players got to step up," because we say that a lot. Oh well, the players got to do something. It's not on the coaches. Yeah, that ain't gonna work because we had a chance to get players that can get the job done. And we decided to, keep our young guys and draft some more young guys. And you're saying Keith Williams. You're saying these coaches are gonna come in here and coach these guys up. Well, they better coach them up. You better coach them up, or you're gonna be out of here. You're all gonna be out of here if it doesn't happen. So they need to start, treating Lamar like their job depends on it. Okay. All right, let's read a couple more comments, and we will get to the next topic. Derek's talking about Sean McDermott and held onto, and he held onto Ron. Yeah,
Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator in Carolina when their defense was great, and he left, and Brandon Beane left, and they kept Ron Rivera, and here we are.
Z to B says it's clear hate and racism nothing to do with his play. Oh, sorry about that. Because if you have eyes, we all know Lamar is legit one person. Look, when it comes to PFF, I don't think it has anything to do with like racism. I think, well, no. Let me rephrase that. I think they're playing off people's racism and biasness, right? I don't think necessarily that they're being racist. I think they know what gets clicks, if that makes sense. All right. Just Al says, already subbed to Engraving. I know you already subbed. You all better be subbed to Engraving. You better be subbed to Engraving. You better be subbed to Keeping It Real, Purple Rain Podcast, Sip to Tally Films. You better, the whole Ravens flock. And if you're a Panthers fan, Panthers Nation, make sure you sub to Panthers Nation Podcast. All right. Rashad and David, man, they doing big things over there. You better be sub to these people, man. If you enjoy our content, you're going to love their content, man. So, support. It takes 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button, man. Subscribe.
That's right. Eric L saying, why didn't Harbaugh develop Lamar more as a pocket passer as other rookie quarterbacks in their first couple of years? I watched Lamar in the 2018 preseason games, and he played well as a pocket passer. Yeah, Lamar doesn't have any problems as a pocket passer. He came in, fairly advanced.
Yeah.
Obviously, anybody coming in the league can get better. But I think to answer your question is he had to save Harbaugh's job. So, they were 4-5. If you remember in Lamar's rookie year with Joe Flacco, they had the top defense in the league. They were 4-5. Lamar comes in and they win 6 of the next 7 games because they said, Lamar, go make plays for us. Please win these games. Please save our jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's really it. And they repaid him by not getting him wide receivers.
Like there's a saying in the NFL that, you don't develop in the NFL, right? Like you have to come in there ready to play. It's not a coach's job to really develop you at that point. You got to kind of put in the work yourself. And this is why. Because yes, there are some coaches in the NFL that can help you develop, but really they just need you, the player, to help them keep their jobs. Right. A lot of times they don't have that much time, even though they say it, especially for quarterbacks. Oh yeah, we're gonna sit him for a year, or he's not gonna play this year. We're gonna let him develop. That quarterback always comes in and takes over because they need that player to start performing in order to save their jobs. Lamar Jackson wasn't supposed to be the starter, right? Mm-hmm. And things weren't working out, and they needed a change. I know, Flacco got hurt. He got hurt. He was too hurt to play anymore. And Lamar came in and did exactly what they drafted him to do. And they're not changing anything because it's been working.
Yeah.
So it's a detriment to Lamar in a way that, what he's doing is working enough for them to keep winning. You kind of need to have a bad year for it to shake up, and hopefully they get a coach that comes in and really opens up the playbook so he can display all his talents. All right. The NFL is a very conservative league, man. Like they're not going to try anything new if they don't have to. Yeah.
It's a back against the wall league. Like until your back's against the wall, you're just going to do what you're comfortable doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Garnett says right here, we run a sophisticated high school offense in all honesty. You stop our best player, which is our quarterback, you win. Now, the good thing for us is
not anymore, Garnett. Not anymore. Not now that Rashad Bateman's there.
Oh, Rashad Bateman. That's Garnett's guy, Rashad Bateman. That's right. That's right.
Those days are done.
Yeah. Reyes says, so you telling me coaches don't want to coach? Interesting. Yeah. What my take is. I've said it on the show before. In the NFL, probably in NBA too. I would say at least half of the league, from position coaches to head coaches to definitely front office. It might be even more than 50%. At least half the league is not qualified for that job. Yeah. You have coaches out there that have no business being coaches. It's because that league is all about nepotism. It's not about what you know. It's 100% about who you know. So, these guys get jobs based off of who they know, who they're related to. And some of these guys have no idea what they're doing. Yeah. And what happens is, it shows on the field. You're running plays and you're just like, well, what is that? Everybody knows it's not going to work. Players are getting mad, right? Because coaches aren't getting fired, and you're wondering what's going on. We're not winning. GMs, keep their jobs, even though Aaron Rodgers says get rid of that GM. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? Yeah, the front office, that side of the field, like the athlete has to be good. There's no getting around it. You have to be able to play to last in the league. If you can't play, you're not going to last. You can't coach, you can last for a long time. Yeah. You're not good at running a team, you can last for a long time. That side of the ball is not about being professional.
Yeah. Well, and particularly when it comes to coaches, it's like I always say, it's like a lot of the guys in the league, they know how to play a song on the piano, but they don't know how to play piano, right? That's why you always hear about coaching trees, because they come up from the time they're very young. I mean, some of them in their early 20s. You're coming up under the same coach in the same system. Even if you change jobs, you're getting hired by people who run that same system, who learned it from people that and you just learn how to do things a certain way. You don't know how to adjust. You don't know how to run an offense. You don't know how to run a defense. You know how to do it the way Andy Reid told you.
Yeah.
You know how to run the team the way Bill Belichick showed you.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not actually good at what you do. You were trained by somebody who's good at what they do, and you're good. I mean, in a lot of cases, not good, but you do your best imitation of them.
Yeah. And that's why you get a lot of the same tropes, right, for black quarterbacks, the same thought process when it comes to black quarterbacks, because it's passed down from generation to generation, right? Not cerebral, right? Even I don't think Harbaugh believes he views black quarterbacks that way. I think it's a subconscious thing. It's ingrained in him. It's because it's been passed down, right? It gets passed down over time. Every coach that he's had has probably had that train of thought, right? Or, most of the coaches. And I think he kind of, without really thinking about it, just coaches that way, or allows him to be coached that way, instead of thinking outside the box like Andy Reid. Because Andy Reid probably had that train of thought at one point, and then he's just like, nah, man, let's open up this playbook, let Mahomes be Mahomes, right? I did that with Donovan McNabb.
Yeah.
I came close, and I could have done more. I'm not going to make that same mistake with Mahomes.
Andy absolutely learned from his time with Donovan.
Yeah.
But most coaches don't.
Right. And losing can do that for you, right? Because he got close, he didn't win, whereas Harbaugh won early. Yeah. He won early, and he feels like, well, I don't have to change.
Can't tell Harbaugh nothing.
Yeah.
Keeping it real says a person's, I think you mean perception, is their reality. They see the Ravens rely on Lamar's legs, so people assume that the Ravens don't believe in his ability to throw. Hopefully this perception changes this season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that is true, but I also think that it is the fact that the Ravens don't go out and get talent at wide receiver. It kind of fuels that perception as well. Yeah. Obviously they went and got Sammy Watkins and Bateman and Tylan Wallace this year. So hopefully, like you said, hopefully that changes. But I think it's a bit of both. They're doing what they needed to do to win games, because you take Lamar out of Baltimore, it's not a very good team. But it's also the fact that they didn't do enough. They didn't go out of their way to improve the offense around him.
Nope, they didn't.
That's why that perception kind of lingers.
Yep. Shout out to King Opugo, man. I see you in here. People don't see how much Lamar compensates for our coaching. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. All right. You guys seem to be loving the topic. You loving the show. That's what's up. Davon said you're gonna win the Academy Award for tonight. Okay. Listen. Since you guys love the show so much, this is a perfect time to take an ad break. Yes, we do ads here. You guys didn't know that? We do ads. Okay? We're not sponsored, but we do ads. All right? So what we're going to do right now is, first, if you're new in here, I see 30 people in here, make sure you're hitting that like button. Please subscribe. Okay? Subscribe and hit that notification bell. All right? And we're going to give you 3 ways you can support the show since you're loving the content so much. The first way is right above me. Patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. We got two tiers. The $3 tier and the $10 tier. Right now, both tiers will get you a whole lot. We do an overtime show directly or right after this show is done, which we need to get through these topics here so we can finish this up. We're going to do an overtime show. Lots of fun. You can join the conversation. Ferris is in there. Davon's in there. Lots of people in there, man. We can talk about everything that you want to talk about. Also for both tiers, we have our Discord channel. Okay. So that's constantly, there's stuff going on in there. There's probably stuff going in there right now. If I look, we have our fantasy football league that we're starting up here pretty soon. In fact, we're going to get that set up, shortly, very, very soon. So be on the lookout for that. And we're doing a Pick'ems league. Now for the $10 tier, for a limited time, you can get one of these nice shiny coins right here. I know some of you guys in there in the chat now got your coin. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. We got a few left, and once they're gone, We'll have something else for the $10 tier, but it won't be that beauty right there. Okay. The second way to support is right above B, $LBHT Show. We don't have super chat. We do not have super chat. I'm not even sure if we're going to enable it when we have the chance. We're still on the fence about that. But if you want to have a highlighted comment, simply go there, drop a donation, leave your comment, and we will read it on air. All right. And
also Venmo, LBHT
also
Show.
Venmo. Yes. We got Venmo. Somebody requested Venmo and asking you shall receive. So we got Venmo. Okay. All the ways to support. All right. And the third way right here, our merch, lbhtshow.com/shop. Do you like this shirt? Listen, LBHT crew, we made this for you. Okay. We have a bunch of LBHT crew brands, products. I'm going to show you a few real quick. Don't worry, guys. We're getting back to the show real soon. We got to do our ads. Okay. We got to do our ads. Oh, look at that beauty right there. Look at that. You know, for the people that like to work out in here, look, you want to look like that guy? Get you one of those shorts. Okay. Muscles not included. You gotta work for those. Okay. We got this mug, not a mug. What is it? A bottle, like a water bottle.
Yeah, it's a water bottle.
We got a water bottle right there. I don't know why it looks like that on the screen.
The picture is cut off. Those were dramatic shots.
Gotcha. Okay. I just actually picked up one of these. I just washed it and dried it. I'm probably gonna rock that later this week. You know, for the people out that want to show off the guns, that want to show off the guns. We got the tank tops. Okay, we got another one of these shirts. These are like what do they call them? 3/4 shirts, whatever. It cuts off like near your wrist.
3/4 sleeve.
3/4 sleeve. Yeah, it's pretty dope. And we got got a t-shirt there. We got all kinds of stuff there, man. So go to the store, lbhtshow.com/shop. Okay, take a look around, and if you see something that you like, consider purchasing, man. It helps out the show. We put everything back into the show, and we appreciate you guys. But in the meantime, man, just hanging out here, leaving your comments, that's more than enough. And we really appreciate everybody that's in here right now.
And just Aloe, to answer your question, the Venmo, we don't have the QR code up yet, but it is at LBHT Show.
Yep, LBHT Show. Yeah, we got to change our graphics too. So this is what we do when we're not online. We are constantly talking about how to make updates to the show, man. We are constantly thinking about this show. Jimmy Kidwell's in the house. What's going on? Louisville had a god-awful team and had to be carried by Lamar. That is true. I'm looking forward to the season now that the Ravens got him, hopefully, some quality help. Okay, yeah.
Noah asking, does $20 Patreon come with a shirt? We'll see, Noah. Come to the overtime or get in the Discord. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Davon says, y'all running LBHT Sporting Goods. We trying, man. We're trying to get there. Okay, this is a perfect segue right here, guys. Z2B says Scottie Pippen was sipping the yak and was spitting truth about KD. Did y'all see the tank fight? Oh, okay. All right. Okay. You hit a couple points there, but we are going to get to Scottie Pippen. We'll transition to that right now.
Yeah.
Right now. So, yeah, look, Scottie Pippen has said a few things.
and to be fair, before we jump into Scotty's going through a rough time.
I was about to get into that. I was about to say that. Yep. He said a few things, and I think people forget his son passed away back in April.
Yeah,
I think it was April. It was very recent. It was not long ago at all. So while you're making your jokes about Scottie Pippen, just keep in mind, man, he's going through a very rough time right now, man. And that's the first thing I thought of when I saw him on the Dan Patrick Show. Mm-hmm. And you said it, like, he looked like he might have been drinking a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I totally get it, man. Like it's a hard time for him right now, Yeah. And I don't know what his support system is like at home. But people make jokes. And Graven talks about this all the time, man. Like, you never know what people are going through. You
right.
never know.
It was a similar thing. People were joking about Chadwick Boseman shortly before he passed because of he had lost a lot of weight.
Yep.
And you just don't know.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I thought about. So let's address the comments that he made. So basically, he was talking about who was he talking about? Kukoc?
He was talking about the game where this was a season where Michael Jordan was gone, and they were in the playoffs, and they had it was a timeout, and they had a chance for a game-winning shot, and Phil Jackson drew up the play for Tony Kukoc instead of Scottie Pippen. And this is the game where he sat out and kind of refused to go in because he was upset. He was very upset. He was in the running for MVP. He had been there with Michael. He won those 3 titles, along with Mike and Phil, and he felt that you're giving this new kid the shot that should be going to me.
Yeah. And basically he said he did it because he was white.
He said it was a racial decision.
Yeah, and Dan Patrick followed up with saying, "Hey, basically, what you're saying is Phil Jackson's a racist." And Scottie Pippen paused for a minute because I don't think that's what he was trying to go with it. But when he thought about it, he said, "You know what? I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that." And of course, the initial reaction is, "The Zen Master is not racist. What are you talking about? Like, he's not racist." But we would like to
enter some more evidence into the conversation there. So
do you want to go in chronological order, forward, backward? How do you want to do it?
I'll just go in chronological order.
We're gonna present some facts here that may prove otherwise.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to read some of these quotes from Phil Jackson. Some of them are from a book, Maverick, that he wrote in the mid-'70s. Some of them are more recent than that. But I'm going to go ahead and read these, and you decide for yourself if you think that Phil may have a problem.
See, Living Legend is on top of it. He knows where we're going with it. Posse. Okay, that's a clue. Posse. Okay, go ahead.
So starting back with some of the quotes from this book, white players are more often willing to run patterns and to work collectively. Because of the predominance of blacks in pro basketball, the sport is rapidly disintegrating into a one-on-one sport. There are only 5 or 6 NBA teams who play with more than a superficial degree of team unity. He's talking about the Knicks, a team that he played for in his career. The starting front court played white basketball, while guards played black basketball.
Yeah.
Another quote here.
Hold on. Before you get to that next quote, I want to make a point here. Ferris says Robert Horry has defended him. Ferris, that doesn't mean anything at all, right? Like when black players defend racists, that doesn't mean anything. Or black people defend racists, it doesn't mean anything. Candace Owens is out there defending every racist on the face of the earth. It doesn't mean a damn thing at all. But let's get to the next quote.
Okay. Next up, we've got black kids growing up want to be the superstar of their neighborhood. They want to be the toughest kids on the block, the richest, or once they get to the playground, the best one-on-one basketball players. White kids, on the other hand, usually are raised in a more homogeneous environment, which provides other outlets for personal expression. They're also constantly being taught the principle of subordinating their own personal glory for the good of the group. Yeah.
Garnett makes a good point here. If a white man uses the word blacks, that's one indicator for you.
I said, once the blacks showed up, the NBA forgot how to pass.
When you put the in front of it, the blacks, that's when you really have a problem.
So later on, those were quotes from his book. Later on, in 1999, he said, "I don't mean to say that as a snide remark towards a certain population in our society, but they have a limitation of their attention span. A lot of it probably due to too much rap music going in their ears and coming out their being." That was in, again, regards to, that one was just in regards to him thinking that black people can't pay attention.
Yeah.
the next quote is in regards to the dress code. This is in 2005. When asked about the dress code, "I think it's important that the players take their end of it, get out of the prison garb and the thuggery aspect of basketball that has come along with hip hop music in the last 7 or 8 years." Yeah.
So, he's willing to say this stuff in books. He's been quoted in the media. You think he doesn't say stuff like this and worse to players?
Well, and Scottie pointed that out during his interview with Dan Patrick, because obviously Dan's going to push back on that. That's not something that people really have said about Phil Jackson a lot, that he's a racist. And Scottie was like, "Listen, I was in the locker room with him. You weren't."
Right.
And that's why, because again, like you said, I don't think that he was necessarily going towards Phil Jackson as a racist. Like, he said it was a racial decision, but it felt kind of like he was maybe looking for a different word. But yeah, he thought about it and he said, yeah, no, I got no problem with that because I've been around Phil and I know Phil, and that is correct. So
Yeah. So in the overtime, I'll tell you about another NBA coach who I heard some things about. Okay. And the person that told me is a credible source. And I was just like, what? And they're like, yeah, super racist.
and this one caught some hands.
He definitely caught hands. But he didn't die. Yeah, he says, don't forget how he tossed Kobe under the bus in one of those books as well.
Yeah, Scottie,
yep, you're absolutely right, Mikey.
That as well in the interview, how he was out there trying to expose Kobe.
When you're winning, especially in team sports at that level, a lot of things get looked over, right?
Yeah.
You're winning, everything is working well. You look past a lot of things. So it's one of those things where, yeah, other players might have recognized it and they saw it, but hey, man, like, we got a good thing going here, man. Just let it go, right? We're just showing up to work. He can say what he wants to say, just write that off, man. Let's just go to work. And some of those things too, also, like, these are young guys. These athletes are young when they come into the league. Mm-hmm. Some of those things might have gone over their head in the beginning. Yeah. Like, he might have been saying things that later on, when they're grown men looking back, like, damn, man, that's kind of racist, man. You know what I'm saying?
I can't be the only one who was a little uncomfortable by the Native American appropriation going on in Phil's office during the Last Dance.
Yeah. Zeke Hokage, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate you.
What's up, Zeke?
He said, so was all the Living Legend said, was all the teams in the league? I'm not sure what that was in reference to. They're having a conversation in there.
I think he responded to Mr. J saying, yet the best players on his respective teams were of color. Yeah. We just got a new patron. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know. I want another godson situation. I won't put your full name out there. So I'll just say thank you for signing up.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, I look. You look at Phil Jackson. He's soft spoken. He works with a lot of black players. You think he has a lot of respect for black people, but that's not necessarily the case. Racism comes in different forms. Being a racist doesn't just mean that you violently oppose black people or Hispanics or Asians or whatever, right? It could just mean, hey, I like them. I just think I'm better than them.
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, it doesn't require that you hate, other people. Just like you said, you think you're better than them. You think they're lesser than you.
Yeah.
Oh, and Just Aloe says you are welcome. Thank you.
Just Aloe, man. Appreciate you. You see what happens when you get names right here? he said, finally, he got my name right. Okay, all right. I'll throw a little something their way. Hey, Just Aloe, man. Thank you.
Suge Knight's in the chat. He says, you want to know who is racist? I'll tell you in the overtime show.
Okay. He's going to say Ferris. He's going to say Ferris. Mikey says, honestly, that's what made that run so special. They were able to focus on tasks at hand, even with all everything that was going on off the court. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. There's a lot that goes in. Look, when you're playing on a professional team, football, basketball, whatever, you're getting people from all walks of life. So you're getting different viewpoints, different personalities, and you got to learn how to put all the stuff aside to win. So the fact that it went this long without being addressed doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah. So especially when your best player was out there playing overseer for you. So
yeah, you're right. So, all right. You want to go into some Panthers?
Yeah, I guess, man.
All right, guys. Look, listen. We got some more Ravens talk. We have another topic. Okay, another Ravens topic that we have to discuss. Don't go anywhere. But for our Panthers Nation, we got a couple things to address.
Disrespectful that when you say we're going to talk about Panthers, you have to beg people to stay and say, "Hey, we're going to talk about Baltimore."
I'm not begging. I'm just saying, stay tuned.
Please stay through this Panthers segment, and we got you on the back end. It's not cool.
Jonathan Washington, what's going on, my man? LBHT, what's good? What's good? No, man. Franchise. Look. There's not a lot going on there's not a lot going on in football terms either, right? Lamar Jackson's just a very popular player, right? If the Ravens didn't have Lamar Jackson, we would not have a lot to talk about. And the Panthers don't have Lamar Jackson. They have Sam Darnold. But we have some questions to ask about our man Sam Darnold.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Has Sam Darnold done enough? And, this is going to tie into Lamar Jackson a little bit too. But first, we're going to focus on Sam Darnold.
Why are you the way that you are?
Look, Sam. All right. If you don't follow Panthers, Sam Darnold got traded to the Panthers. And then they decided that they're going to pass up on Justin Fields in the draft.
That feels unrelated to this story, but all right. I don't know why you're just rubbing some more salt in, but it's okay.
No, it matters because the team is saying they have faith in Sam Darnold, which what we talked about before with Josh Allen. You no matter who you pick as your quarterback, the organization, the coaches, everybody needs to get behind that quarterback and show that they're 100% behind that quarterback. You're giving him all the support that he needs to succeed, and a lot of times they can succeed. You can win with that quarterback, right? So. I don't know if they're 100% in on them. They haven't really gotten that O-line fixed. They definitely have talent, though. They have wide receivers. They have the running back. They have talent. They have offensive weapons. Yeah. So, the O-line, we'll see. They brought in some people. I don't know if they got better. They brought in some people. But is Sam Darnold himself doing enough this offseason to get ready for this upcoming season? And the answer could be yes, but look, optics is everything with a quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Optics is everything. We want to see that they're putting in the work in the offseason. We want to see that they're working out with the wide receivers, all that stuff that we always criticize Flacco for around here, right? We used to criticize Flacco for not working out with his wide receivers in the offseason. Didn't really look like he really did anything until he showed up to camp. And we see Lamar Jackson doing that all the time, just constantly working out. He looks like, he wants it. Sam Darnold, he might be, I'm sure he's doing some workouts.
He's gotten a lot of praise from the coaching staff and other players at minicamp, OTA and stuff, and they say, he's putting in the work and everything. But then you see him just out at fights, out at bars, maskless, which is relevant because he's not really on board with vaccination.
Yes.
And, you're not good enough to just be out enjoying yourself right now. Honestly.
See, I was trying to be nice about it, but yes, that's what it comes down to.
Right. You've been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league for 3 years.
Yeah.
You got to do more than other people.
You were drafted number 2? Number 2 overall. It was Baker and then 3. Yeah, because Saquon got drafted number 2.
Yeah.
Darnold was 3. You got drafted 3rd overall. Same draft as Lamar Jackson, by the way, and Josh Allen, who are doing great right now. But you can say whatever you want. You can say it's a Jets organization, multiple coaches, whatever. You haven't played well, and you have another opportunity to show that you can play. And I don't know, man. Like it's just from the outside looking in. To be fair, it's just the outside looking in. He could be putting in all the work, but it doesn't look like it. All right, and when you're opposed to getting a vaccine, right? It's not a political thing, but you're out there saying, hey, like, I just don't want to get a vaccine. I don't believe in it. I don't want to do it. Okay, fine. But you're also not doing the things you need to do to make sure you don't get sick. Okay. Yeah. You're out there at bars with Christian McCaffrey, right? Being reckless. There's no other way to say it. You go out there maskless and unvaccinated, you're being reckless. Mm-hmm. You're at Javonte Davis's fight front and center with Christian McCaffrey, Man, look, I'm starting to think, man, this dude is not only reckless, he's a bad leader.
Yeah, yeah.
Like those are things that I question, man. Because look, and I brought up Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson didn't answer the question of whether or not he got vaccinated. I don't think he did, to be honest. You okay over there? I don't think he did. I just hope he's safe because, man, if you get sick, if you get the flu, you could play through the flu, right? There's no rules on that, right? You get COVID, you're out, right? You can't play. In Lamar's case, whatever. Like, he's the man. He's getting his contract. Sam Darnold's case, Sam Darnold has to prove it this year. So if he doesn't get off to a hot start, and if he happens to get sick, he has to miss more time. It's not. I mean,
well, and forget proving it in terms of a contract. We talked earlier. He hasn't proven that he's better than his backup.
No, he hasn't. How good? Look, chat. Let us know. How good do you think Sam Darnold is? Derek, I definitely want to hear from you, man. He says Panther top 4 pick next year. See, so you don't really think Darnold.
Jonathan, I'm not reading that, man. Come on. That comment. Yes, I do feel bad. I feel very bad.
Oh yeah, because look, this organization knows if he doesn't look good, and Justin Fields simultaneously does look good, which I think he will. Mm-hmm. They're going to get hit hard for that. Although part of me thinks that they're still in on Deshaun Watson, right? I feel like maybe they're banking on this stuff getting resolved one way or another. Where he maybe he gets suspended a couple of games, but he's not he's not going anywhere.
I think at this point it would have to be next year. It has to be a next year thing.
Yes, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah. I think, hey, we got Sam Darnold for this year. He can do whatever. Next year we'll go and get Deshaun Watson or maybe Aaron Rodgers at this point, right? I don't think they're as on Sam Darnold as it appears.
Yeah. Eric L is asking, do you think Sam Darnold will have 25 to 30 touchdowns with 4,000 yards this season? This is an interesting question because we talked about this as well. The NFL, football is the sport where stats matter the least because every position is so dependent on everybody else on the field, right? And so if you're the rest of your roster is good enough and your coach is good enough, you can carry a bad player to really, really good numbers, right? So you've got DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrace Marshall, Christian McCaffrey. You just brought in Dan Arnold. If the O-line gets it together and your offensive coordinator is Joe Brady and he is what everybody thinks he is, Sam could absolutely hit those numbers. I think he'll have a healthy number of interceptions to go along with it, but he could absolutely hit those numbers, right? And that wouldn't speak to his ability at all necessarily.
Yeah, I was gonna say not a chance, but I mean, cause I don't think they're gonna throw that enough for him to do that.
I think they'll be losing plenty of games, and we'll have to throw.
Maybe. Okay, maybe he can get 25 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. But the question is, how many interceptions will go along with that?
Yeah, I mean, certainly double digits. If he's throwing enough to get 5,000 or 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, I'm going to say at least 15 interceptions along with it.
Yeah. 11 Legend says, facts, and Baker set up to succeed like a wealthy man on a blind date. And Noah said, and he had a bunch of commercials. Yeah, he did. I ain't mad at it, man. Get your money. Just Aloe says, we will find out soon enough if Lamar isn't vaccinated. The protocols are way different for non-vaccinated players. Yeah, we'll see. Look, that's your choice. I understand if you don't want to get it, but you have to do something to protect yourself. If you're not doing one thing, you gotta do the other thing. You gotta wear that mask when you're out. Stay home first and foremost. Don't be out there. Just stay home, right? Don't even take that risk. But if you're out, definitely wear a mask because you might be young and healthy. You feel like, hey, if I get it, it's not that big of a deal. But it's a big deal in the sense that you won't be able to play. Like that, I mean, you could take all the other stuff out. The NFL says if you catch it, you can't play. You have to sit out X amount of days until you test negative. So you're hurting your team.
Yeah.
Right. And for players that are all in on being there for the team, hey, I have an injury and I'm going to shoot myself up with some, pain numbing medicine to make sure I can go out there and play because I'm all about the team. Man, all I'm saying is you're willing to do one thing, but you're not willing to do the other thing to make sure you stay on the field. All right.
Yeah. And Mr. J says Sam Darnold is going 30 for 30 like Jameis.
Ooh.
We have the talent, but there will be some miscues and flat out mistakes.
I think 30 for 30. I think you'll see the backup in before that happens.
I mean, I think for sure you'll see the backup because, the backup is the head coach's guy. But, Just Allo was asking, y'all are talking about Sam Darnold, right? 30 touchdowns, LOL. Blake Bortles threw 35 touchdowns one year.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yep. Attitude Pop says Mac Jones is starting over Cam. Let's go. No, he's not. He looks awesome in camp. He's proving people wrong. Ha ha ha! In your face. You talking about minicamp?
It's not possible to prove people wrong in camp.
Attitude Pop. Tell me the last time you heard somebody say, "Man, this dude sucks" in minicamp. That's not a thing. Minicamp is designed specifically to make everybody look good. In fact, the media is only allowed in like 1 or 2 practices, right? You can only see very basic stuff in minicamp, and a coach will never tell you that somebody's playing poorly or looks bad or even hint at that in minicamp. That's just not a thing. So you can't point to a player where they're like, man, he looked awful. Not in minicamp. Training camp, maybe. He said, Jonathan said, Sam Darnold gave Sir Per Hermano. All right, man. He's laughing at Jonathan. Watched it. All right. Man, we only did 2 topics. We had a bunch of other topics.
We do have one other Panthers topic real quick,
and then we got to get this other Ravens thing, and then we'll do quick bonus time, and then we'll do overtime.
The Saints, with their lack of cap room, just gave Ryan
you want to talk about that? Okay.
Well, what did you think I was talking about?
Greg Olsen.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
No. Let's do the Ryan Ramczyk.
Ryan Ramczyk got a 5-year, $98 million deal at right tackle, so just under $20 million a year, kind of resetting the right tackle market. And Carolina has one of the best right tackles in the league, Taylor Moton, who's currently on the franchise tag and has not received an extension. So now the question becomes, are you willing to pay him near $20 million a year since you didn't do what you were supposed to do and sign him to a long-term deal at any point in the last year? And honestly, I think that they're just going to let him play on the tag. This front office and this coach do not seem to care about fixing the O-line and providing protection for whoever is back there at quarterback. And honestly, I don't think that they really believe Sam Darnold is a long-term answer. So, yeah, they don't care if he takes a beating this year either.
Yeah, but that's weird to me, man. Like, whoever you replace Sam Darnold with is going to need protection, right? Mm-hmm. And I know they're probably thinking we can get that fixed in a year.
Yeah.
But you have a guy that could play now. Like, just pay him. And you and I discussed Taylor Moton, right? Trading him to the Ravens for Zeus.
Orlando,
for Zeus, because Zeus wants to play left tackle, and
Carolina hasn't had one since Jordan Gross,
right? And I you and I both agreed that would have been a perfect even swap. Taylor Moton for Orlando Brown. Okay, you guys get your left tackle, and we get a really good right tackle. But neither one of us got what we wanted.
Mahomes did.
Mahomes gets everything he wants.
Yeah.
He's like my son Jacob, man. Like, it seems like every day is Christmas. My son Jacob said he showed me 2 Lego sets that he wanted. He sent me the links to them because he's got his own phone, 6 years old. And I'm like, man, like, where are you getting this stuff from? And he showed me. He just clicks on the little little Hey Google thing, and he says, show me Lego sets I can buy, and it shows him all the Legos he can get, and he just sends it to me. And what do? I get it. I get it. That's Pat Mahomes. Mr. J says, I believe the Saints purposely messed with us with that signing. I am reaching, but now Moton is looking at us like, the Saints keep pulling out these blockbuster deals. You notice that? This is a team that had no cap. They were $90 million over the cap. Okay. Oh, our man E is in the house. What's going on? Thanks for coming through, man. Sterling's here too. What's going on, man? Sterling,
what's up, Sterling?
My man Sterling on vacation. Enjoy your vacation, brother. You've earned it. You've earned it. But yeah, like weren't they 90 million? Was it 90 million over the cap?
I think closer to 100, but yeah.
And they're signing everybody. So as our man Engraven would say, the cap is cap. Okay.
He says the Saints are paying in crypto because there ain't no way.
Yes. Noah says in EDC we trust, talking about his failure to trade OBJ for Taylor Moton. Look,
but y'all got an edge rusher who ain't got no sacks though.
I see some of you guys typing Owe in the chat. Like, I've cooled down on Owe talk. You guys notice I haven't said a whole lot about Jason Owe or Odafe Owe. Look, I'm just gonna let him play, man. At this point, I'm just rooting for him. The time for criticizing the move is gone. Okay, until it shows that it didn't work. Right now is I hope it works out. I don't think it's gonna work out, but I hope it works out. Look, living legend. This is the Owe. You know what? That might be on the shirt here soon if he works out. Yeah. Saints and Chiefs finessing the system. Yeah, it seems that way. Mm-hmm. Mr. J says Saints are under the MLB rules when it comes to signing players. And for those of you who don't know, Major League Baseball doesn't have a salary cap.
Yeah.
So Raven Juan, Owe, Phantom Sacker. Eric brought up a good point. We'll talk about this in the bonus time. NCAA about to be paying these athletes in crypto. Yeah, NCAA came out today and said that athletes can make money off of their name and likeliness. How generous of them.
Right.
Do we want look? No. We're not gonna get to that yet. We have another Ravens topic. We doing overtime right now, but this is
what's up, Godson.
Godson, what's going on? Hold on. What's up, family? Thank you, man. Thank you for coming through. Yep. All right, let's pull this up. I promised you another Ravens topic, and here it is. Todd Gurley, is he coming to Baltimore? Or is that fake news? Is that fake news? I know this was reported last week. Reported. It was tweeted out that they're working on a deal to bring in Todd Gurley. One, do you think it's going to happen? And two, do you think it's a good move? I want to know that. Type that in the chat.
One, I do think it'll happen. Two, I want to know how many running back sightings Ravens fans will praise. Because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous at this point. You got J.K. Dobbins. You got Gus. You got, what's his name? Justice.
Justice Hill.
Why? Why do you need Todd?
Noah says it's fake news. Ferris says, why would you want Gurley? Derek says clickbait. Okay. And Noah says no. That would not be a good move. Okay. Look, I like what I'm seeing. He says he doesn't want him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want him. King Bird, what's going on? Thanks for coming through, man.
What's up, King Bird?
Yep. Jonathan Washington says Ravens probably will end up bringing him in even though we don't need him. Same with re-signing Gus. For me, I don't hate the player, just other priorities to get sorted out first. Absolutely. If we had said, look, we're not bringing back Gus. Todd Gurley is a cheaper option. Cool. I'm cool with that because Todd Gurley in a backup role, especially on this team, I think Todd Gurley could look like a starter on this team.
Like Gus Edwards?
Yes, absolutely. Todd Gurley is I think is still a better player than Gus Edwards. Right, if we're being honest. And this, I know it always sounds like I'm hating on Gus Edwards. I'm not hating on Gus Edwards, man. It's just you got to realize the situation he's in. Todd Gurley had a pretty solid year last year, man, on a bad team.
I think Gusto is a better singer / rapper than he is a football player.
No, I like Gus. I like the role we have him in. But I mean, we don't need to be paying him any kind of money. Let him go make money elsewhere, man. I'm not hating on you, Gus. If you watch this, I'm not hating on you. I'm just speaking speaking towards the team as a whole. You spent a second round pick on J.K. Dobbins, so he needs to be the man. And any other move you make at running back after that needs to be a cheap move, right?
Yeah.
Paying $5 million to Gus, that's not ideal. And then bringing in Ty Gurley on top of that makes the Gus signing look even worse. One of them is bad, either the Gus signing or Ty Gurley if we get him. I don't know if we're going to get him, but if that ends up happening, it wouldn't shock me, first of all. But if that happens, man, what an awful move.
Yes.
Ferris says, well, according to some, Gus Edwards is better than Saquon.
Don't take shots at people who ain't here, Ferris.
Yeah.
That ain't right.
Yeah. Jonathan says Lamar makes any running back look good. Exactly. Mm-hmm. We could give Eddie Lacy $20 and a Big Mac, and he'll come and give us some production. That is true.
Eddie Lacy was just unbelievably difficult to bring down. He just rolled down the field. All right. I loved Eddie.
And he was difficult to bring out the Chinese restaurant too.
China food is delicious.
Yeah, he said that was a quote from him. I love China food, not Chinese food, China food. Darius says the money spent on Gurley, Gus, and Hammy Watkins, they could have signed any wide receiver.
Catching on,
you know it. Oh, you know it. Eric L wants to know why are the Ravens bringing in Gurley and not getting Julio Jones. That's that. Yeah. It's not even money, man.
It's the cost. They didn't want to give up the second round pick and pay him.
Yeah.
And Todd's coming cheap. If he does.
Yeah. And I think they like having a little built-in excuse as well. A little cushion. Because you bring in Todd Gurley, the margin of error for you is
non-existent.
It's thinning. You bring in first and second year wide receivers. You give yourself a little out. Mm-hmm. You give yourself a little time. Say, hey man, we had a great regular season. We didn't quite get it done in postseason, but these guys are growing. They're getting better, right? You can't do that if you bring in Julio Jones. There's no excuse.
Right.
Let's see. Gurley for the cheap is unnecessary, but EDC, you never know, babyface. Yep. Garnett says, hell no. We are good with our 3. Yep. I agree. Let's see. Leave Julio out this conversation. It's time to move on. We will not move on.
No, sir.
We can move on for now. It's done. We don't have them, but I'm telling you,
as long as Garnett's good, right? As long as Garnett gets the player that Garnett wants.
Can we talk about Rashad Bateman? Right now, it is what it is, right? Look, always here. Julio's not. We can't do anything about it. But when the game starts, boy, we better perform. If we're not getting it done in the passing game, we are going to go back to this time. We are definitely going to bring it up because me and B knew last season this was going to happen. We talked about it. You pull up some of our old videos, right? Our old videos. We talked about this. Man, this is a city that loves their defense. They'll always cheer for getting defensive players and neglect the offense until the offense becomes a problem. And in the moment is, we need help on this. We need help with that. Oh, you got to get better at wide receiver. You need this and that. And then when you get to the offseason, we're fine. We don't need that, right? And we were doing it this year because nobody was saying wide receiver except Garnett. Garnett wanted Bateman, but most people were like, we don't need to go wide receiver. Let's go edge rusher, even though there wasn't a clear edge rusher to get. Let's go edge rusher or let's trade back. We're not a city or a fan base that values offense like that.
No.
And, I can just tell by some of the comments that you guys say, when we talk about Julio Jones, the how dismissive you are of somebody that talented. It tells me that a lot of you guys have no idea how good he is. You have no idea, because what you see of Julio Jones is on your fantasy football team, right? And you haven't actually watched him play. And I'm not taking shots at you guys. I'm sure you know who Julio Jones is, but it's different when you follow a team and see a team with like high, offensive talent, how they perform.
And it's funny because Ravens fans love Steve Smith. They love that couple seasons they got out of Steve Smith Sr.
And he was a shell of himself.
Yes. Yeah. I watched him, in Carolina. That wasn't the same dude.
Yeah.
Like he bittered his way through, a couple seasons in Baltimore, but that was just a shadow of what Carolina had for the majority of his career. But it seems like Baltimore just doesn't want a player like that.
Yeah. Jonathan Washington says this week Ravens signed Todd Gurley. Next week, Le'Veon Bell scheduled to visit Ravens in Baltimore, looking to solidify their run game.
That's right. Garnett's asking if we are going to the preseason game in Carolina. I do not live in Carolina, so no.
Yeah, no, we're not going anywhere this year, man. I think things are opening up way too quickly.
We went to the Ravens preseason game a couple times, but yeah, probably won't be hitting any games this year.
Oh, let's hit the bonus time. We are officially in bonus time. The show should be ending right now. We're going to give you a few.
You know what? Let's end it out with one more semi-Ravens related topic.
Okay,
and that's the Greg Olsen topic. If you didn't hear, Greg Olsen was on, I believe, it was on Barstool Sports, and he had a quote about tight ends in the NFL. And let me see if I can pull that up right here. You have the picture?
I do. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to. I think I deleted the ticker. I'm always doing that. Greg Olsen. Okay, I have it here. I have it here. Greg Olsen. Boom. There it is.
Yeah, he says we have to do the same stuff that $15 million left tackle has to do and run routes against the same guy that $15 million wide receiver has to run routes against, and they're going to pay us $7 million talking about tight ends. Mm-hmm. So one, do you guys think that is a valid complaint that he's making? And two, how much do you want to pay Mark Andrews in light of these comments?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Put that in the chat real quick. We're gonna end with that. We're gonna end with that. Jonathan Washington says Julio Jones' name alone will have opened up so much for this past game. Absolutely. Now he's in Tennessee. Man, look, I'm gonna be honest. I don't even want to think about that. I don't even want to think about him and AJ Brown together. Yeah. They get farther than us. You're gonna hear about it on this show. I can tell you that.
So we got Just Alice saying tight end should be paid more. Living Legend saying market value. Attitude Pop says it's valid and 15 million. ZDB's no more than 12 per. So 15 million is what Julio is making. You want to pay Mark Andrews what Julio's making? I mean, if you do that, that's fine. That's your opinion. Not I. No.
I mean, man, it's when you're a fan of a team, you're just familiar with those players, and you put a higher value on those players than you should. Mark Andrews is a good tight end. Calling him a top 5 tight end is being disingenuous, like he is, but he's nowhere near the top 3, right? Nowhere near. Those guys, if you say pay George Kittle, pay Travis Kelce, pay Darren Waller, who we had here and let him go. We pay Darren Waller. You say pay those guys $15 million. Nobody bats an eye at that. Those guys are playmakers.
Yeah.
All right. Like they're game changers. Like those are players that defenses have to scheme for. Mark Andrews isn't that guy. He's good, but he's not that guy. And no way should you pay him anything. Look, if he asks for it, look, I'm all for players getting their money because every football player is vastly underpaid. In fact, we got one more thing to talk about.
I thought we were saving it for the overtime.
We're giving a little teaser to the overtime. We're going to talk more about this in overtime. But we're going to give you a little teaser. We're about to get out of here in a minute. If you want to join the overtime chat, because you're not going to want to miss this topic, patreon.com/LBHT show. If you got $3, as little as $3, you can join this conversation. Just go to patreon.com/LBHT show. Give us a few minutes. I'm going to drop a link in there, and you're going to have lots of fun. But speaking of player salaries, every single player, who do you think is overpaid? And who do you think is overpaid?
Just look at a couple of these comments. Noah says, "Ain't no way I'm paying Mark Andrews $15 million after this past season. He'd probably drop the bag." Garnett, Mark Andrews is overrated in all honesty. I don't care what anybody say, and you're not going to change my mind. I agree with you, Garnett. I mean, I think he's a good player, but I think he is overrated. Andre Mears, thanks for coming through. He says, Olsen has a point. Don't want to have to pay Andrews big like that, but we can't let him walk.
Yeah, we can.
Fair enough. I think they can let him go. But, yeah, I understand why Ravens fans would feel that way after they've been kind of leaning on Andrews for the last couple of years.
Yeah. But we can let him go. Devon Allen, you put those other 3 tight ends in Baltimore, they don't put up more than Andrew.
I'm going to give you a hard disagree on that one. If for no other reason than that they'll catch the passes that Mark Andrews drops.
Yeah. That doesn't get nearly enough attention, how many touchdown passes he's dropped. I pay attention, okay? Because they're in big games. He is not a clutch player. Good player. He is not a clutch player. He doesn't belong in the same breath as those other 3 tight ends.
No.
Let's see. Attitude Pop. One more thing. This is it, Attitude Pop. PG-13 is a crybaby talking about he the most criticized. Every superstar gets criticized. If anyone is the most criticized, it's LeBron, and it's for no reason. I don't disagree with that.
Why y'all just love disrespecting players over here? What's going on, Jonathan?
Oh, wow. Okay. Man.
I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt right now and say that was autocorrect.
Yeah. You meant Dennis Schroeder. Your man Dennis Schroeder is funny you mentioned Dennis Schroeder, Jonathan, because this is how the whole conversation started, that we were asking about players and their value. Because
he's asking for 100 to 120 million. People are freaking out about that, even though that's it was autocorrect. He said Schroeder, my fault. So the Lakers already offered him $21 million a year, but it was on a 4-year deal, so it was only $84 million. He turned it down. I don't know if he's looking for $25 million a year or if he just wants that extra year. But yeah, we were talking about that, and I said I don't care if they pay him that money. They're over the cap. They can't sign anybody in free agency, and Dennis Schroeder signing is not going to prevent them from bringing anybody in. They have to get better through trade. Yeah. And then we kind of segued into another athlete who is getting paid. Don't say how much. I didn't say the number. I say he's getting paid way more than that.
Okay. I don't want you guys. We're going to get out of here. We're going to end with this, right? Messi. Lionel Messi. Do you guys know who that is? He's a soccer player. Okay.
He plays for Barcelona and Argentina on the world stage.
Yes. Do you know his contract is coming to an end? Do you know how much that contract is? If you do, type it in real quick. Don't Google it. Okay. Type it in the chat. Do you know how much his last contract is? That's ending. He's about to get a new contract. Do you know how much his last contract was? E does. I know. E, you're disqualified. You don't say it. You can't say it. You can't say it. Ferris probably knows it too. Kingbird says 300 million. No. Is there any other takers? Real quick. It says $9 trillion. King of Pugo
That's
says
500.
500 million. No. Unless it says 1 trillion. You're closer. You got 500 million. Okay. All right. B, do you want to get the number? Derek Weatherly says 490 million. False.
Now, so I'll give you the number in US dollars because it was, it was reported in euros.
Okay.
But the number
yeah.
is 4 years, 799 million. That's in US dollars. In euros, it was 4 years, 674 million. So no, I don't care that Dennis wants 20, 25 a year.
Let's recap, guys. Let's recap. In 4 years of kicking the ball around, he is close to becoming he's already a billionaire. Let's see that the way. He's already a billionaire, right? Because he's had a ton of endorsement deals. He's getting 800 million just off of 4 years of playing. He's been playing longer than that, and he's about to get another deal. Okay.
Yeah. And he's going to get some retirement money when he comes over to the MLS. They said the plan is to sign a couple more years and then come over and play for Miami in the MLS.
Yeah. And I'm all for it, man. I'm all for athletes making as much money as humanly possible, right? Because Barcelona has made billions off of Messi, billions. That was a sound investment on their behalf. Okay, yeah. 200 mil per year. That's easy money for them to spend. These owners can spend that money on these players too. They just don't want to. They're just greedy.
Yeah.
Okay. And going back to the NCAA, we'll wrap up with that real quick. They just came out and said that players can start making money off of their image and likeliness after denying players for decades. To me, that's not nearly enough progress. You need to pay them, and I mean, that's a given. You shouldn't be able to restrict them from any of that stuff. They need to get paid. They need to be able to be represented by agents, all that stuff, because the NCAA is not amateurism. Okay. It's professional sports, right? Covered under the shroud of amateurism. So, shout out to those players, man, keep fighting for that. And, until the NCAA, completely does them right, man, we're not going to really cover them that much. Being honest, man. Like I don't like the exploitation of these kids, man, and them not being able to make money. That's pro sports. When you're watching those college games, that's pro football.
Yeah, and pro basketball.
And pro basketball.
And so we're gonna get out of here and head over to the overtime show.
Yes.
If we did not get to your question, you can send us an email at questions@lbhtshow.com, and we can answer them in a video or hold them over for next week.
All right, y'all. Thank you very much. We try to keep this to an hour, but we're having too much fun tonight, man. You guys do that to us, but y'all have a good night, and we will see you next time. Peace out.